I have spent the last 8 years of figuring out methods and techniques of how I can win back my focus from overstimulation, from mindlessly consuming content on the internet. I have figured out a lot of things that I use in my life to become a master of my focus. And in this video, I'm going to give you a compilation of videos where I outline the entire dopamine battle and the things you need to know to win every single day fighting against technology trying to take over your attention. I just want to emphasize that technology is a great thing. I'm going to say that throughout these videos as well. We just need to know how to use it correctly. So enjoy the videos. This is the Dopamine Battle. I will link all of the resources down in the description. Pay attention, study this video maybe over a longer period of time and take back your focus and control over your life. Good luck. Dopamine battle is fought every single day. And what I mean by that is that the big tech companies, the one that you're actually on right now, YouTube in this example, but all the others as well, they earn money when you spend time on their apps. When you spend time on Apple's devices, on someone else's apps, they earn money on you. That means that we are prey. I am prey. Someone is trying to prey for my attention so they can keep me on this website, so they can sell me ads and they can earn money. And I'm losing my attention. They're practically sucking it out of me by designing these billion-dollar apps to hook my attention. So what I mean by fighting it every day is that when I started, I thought that I could just have this idea that I would stop scrolling mindlessly, and simple as that, I will just be able to quit. But after trying over and over and over again and failing and beating myself up because I was failing, I realized that failing this battle was part of it. It's because every day they are tuning and adjusting these apps to hook me more and more. They're trying to get me in every way they can. So I want to use technology to my advantage. I think technology is great. I don't want to chuck my phone out the window, but I want to take control of it. That's why I made this cycle or this diagram here where we can see the cycle of the dopamine battle and that one that has to be fought every single day and remembered every single day. So we can start here at the top and we can see the whole cycle begins with being sucked into whatever you get sucked into. So it could be Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and then you binge for hours on end, for days on end, for weeks on end, without being aware that you are spending all your potential or your energy and focus on that application. And at some point, if you're fighting this dopamine battle, you will have awareness of what you're doing. And when you have awareness that something isn't right, that you should quit being on that app and you should do something else with your time and energy, then you can move to a preventive action. This preventive action can be many things. There are so many ways of taking control over this, but let's use an easy example. You delete the app. Then you continue to do the preventive action, and then you can stay here in this flywheel where you have awareness that you don't want to go on the app and you have the app deleted and you stay that way. But after time, your vulnerability to go and start this cycle again will increase. That's because you kind of forget why we're doing it in the first place. You feel better. So then suddenly you're sucked in again. And this happens. It may happen after a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of weeks. And then you binge until you get awareness again. And why there is a +1 in here is because I want you to have the mindset that every time you get awareness and you make a preventive action, you kind of make a round in this cycle and you will get a +1 because you will become stronger. This is how we defeat this addiction of spending all our time mindlessly on the internet. It's to go around this circle again and again until you become so aware and good at preventive action that you kind of just stay here. And this binge will get shorter and shorter. You get sucked in less and less often. But by having the mindset that you have to fight this battle every single day, you will get a lot better. So don't beat yourself up if you're falling off the horse, if you're actually watching this video right now because you're in a binge state. Because then you just have to get awareness that you are there and then take preventive action, and you are making your life better automatically and claiming back your focus. So also in the description below, I have an emergency doom scrolling sheet that can pull you out of doom scrolling. It's 3 easy steps, and you can download that for free and look at that to pull you out of the binge and into awareness so you can start this cycle. And I've realized that for me to win the dopamine battle and take back my focus, I have to have systems and tools in place, because it's too hard on my own just using my willpower. So I have many tools and systems that I use, but I want to give you one today that I call the dopamine tier list. And this is a system that you can use whenever you are finding yourself mindlessly consuming content on the internet. Because when you are down there, mindlessly consuming algorithmic content, you are burning your brain and reducing your ability to focus. And it's just going one way when you are doing that, and that's down the drain when it comes to your mind. So I'm going to show you this now, and I want you to pay attention, because by having focus, you can build a successful life. If you want to get rich, you have to have focus. If you want to do anything and be successful in anything that you are currently trying to do or want to do, you have to have focus. So by using this list, you can transform yourself, and doing that over time. This is not something that will turn overnight, but you can do it over time if you really give this a lot of attention. So this is the tier system. It goes from brain rot to focus. And brain rot is a very nice word, because that's what's happening to our brain when we are doing these activities. I'm going to reveal them one by one, so you can focus on each single tier. You go from F until S tier, and this is the best thing you can do. And we're starting with the worst thing. So the worst thing you can do is algorithmic brain rot. And what does that mean? Well, this is short form content, and then you can pick your poison. Watching shorts, TikToks, reels, not YouTube long form like you are doing now, but shorts. These are decreasing your attention span with every single time you're watching one of these videos. With every single session, you're reducing your attention span, and you're becoming more and more mindless. Your soul is getting sucked out more and more with every swipe. This is the worst thing you can do. And personally, I don't see any benefits of being down here at F. Yes, you may say that you can learn something from watching these short clips, but I don't think it's worth it at all. You can learn so much more if you're up here than down here. So this is something I cut out. I've actually never been addicted to this, because I've seen how dangerous it is just by going in there. It is like heroin. It's the worst drug you can use. And when you get bored from this, then there's no further down you can go. Then there's no level under this. This is the worst thing. This is the peak of entertainment when it comes to the human mind. And I don't want to be here, because if I'm bored here, I'm kind of doomed. So the next level, the E tier, that's a little bit better than algorithmically enhanced scrolling. That's mindless impulsive checking. This is when you're on your phone and you're in Instagram watching a story, then you jump to Snapchat, then you send some messages, then you go into a news reel, and you kind of jump around all over the place. This usually happens when we are using our phones for something useful. Maybe you go into your bank, or you're going to answer a message from your friend or your mom or your spouse, and then you end up in mindlessly checking random stuff that you don't even need to know about, and you get sucked into this phone, and then you're getting stuck here, maybe for hours or maybe for a couple of minutes. But this is mindless impulsive checking. It's not as bad, but it's still decreasing your focus, because you're jumping all over the place and your attention span is getting reduced. You're also losing your sense of determination and focus, because you're not choosing. You're being guided by the phone instead of you choosing what you're doing. So this is the E tier. Then we're slowly moving further up, and this I called mindless distraction. This can be looked at as the same thing as this, but this is more when we are mindlessly distracting ourselves from the world around us. So let's say when you're on the bus, you are listening to a podcast. It's a little bit better than jumping all around the place, but you're listening to a podcast and mindlessly kind of distracting yourself from the real world. When you're making food, you're watching a YouTube video on the side. When you are doing anything else, that you could be in the world and be engaged with, and you're kind of mindlessly distracting yourself, listening to the news, scrolling through the news quickly, just to distract yourself. And if you're here, you can move one step further. And this is a little bit like controversial to know where this is, this C here actually is. But I call it low effort engagement. And what we can think about here is usually like playing video games or mobile games. And the reason I put this here is because you don't have to put in a lot of effort to sustain your engagement. You're carried away by the whatever video game you're playing, but it's still not as bad as being mindlessly distracted, and not as bad as all as being down here, because you're actually using your brain. You're engaged with something, you're using your brain, you don't have to do a lot of effort to focus, but you are actually engaged with something, and that's good. And then we go to the next one up here, that's the B tier. And now we're in the level of, I would say, something you can just do every single day. If you do it with intention and moderation, this is not a bad place to be. And this is if you're down here, you can aim to get up here. And I call this engaged entertainment. This is, for example, watching a movie where you sit down, you're ready to watch a movie, and you sit for hours on end and watching that movie with intention, without your phone. You're not checking your phone when you're watching that movie. You're just paying attention, you're living through a story, and there's an end point when the movie is done and you had a good time. This is a good place to be. You know, watching a TV series where you watch one episode with your family or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever, and then you watch one episode and then you're done, and you don't check your phone throughout the episode. This can be listening to podcasts and actually learning about history or diving deep into a topic or something like that, and being entertained for entertainment purposes. If you're down here a lot, you're scrolling through a lot of short videos, or you're mindlessly checking, when you figure out that you are here, then you can think to yourself, okay, now I'm doing it. Now I'm mindlessly down here at the E and F categories. Then you can say, okay, but what could I do? Okay, maybe it's too hard for you to go and just sit down and stare into a wall. Then you can do this, engage entertainment, where you choose something that you actually want to pay attention to and be entertained, but that has a sustained story and sustained arc of telling that story. And then we get up to the A. This is now you're in a good land, you know? If you do this, you're strengthening your focus. That's the same can be said about the B, because if you're down here, you're strengthening your focus by just watching a movie. But if you're up here, you're definitely doing that. And I call it focused exploration. And this can be looked at as learning. You're doing courses. Actually now, you're doing this. But it depends if you were searching for this video on this topic. You're actually trying to learn about your own attention, your own focus, and how to save your dopamine. Then you're up here. If you came over this video accidentally because you were scrolling, I would say that you're more down here. You're in mindless distracted land. But now you're paying attention and you're watching this video for all this time, then you're starting to get more and more up here. And if you decide that you want to watch a new video after this one that is in the same topic, and you take notes and you pay attention, then you're up here and actually building your focus. You're learning something. This could be workshop, courses, watching YouTube videos, you know, talking to people that know a lot of things about a topic. You're exploring. This is a great place to be. This is almost the top of the tier list. But we have this S here that I would say is the most important thing for building focus and the thing that sustains focus for the longest time. And that is deep focus activities. That is creative activities, learning how to paint, learning how to play music, spending a lot of time drawing something, thinking out a deep idea that you have, developing an idea. It's reading a book, non-fiction book or a fiction book before you go to bed or in the day, because then you have to put in a lot of effort to sustain your attention. And by putting in effort to sustain your attention, you're building that muscle. You're depositing money into the bank that you can get out later. And the less you do this and the more you do this, the better and stronger your mind will become. Here we also have meditation and other mindfulness activities where you are being totally present in the moment. If you're doing yoga, you're meditating, you're breathing and noticing your breath, then you're building your focus. And me actually building out this whole program, drawing all these letters and figuring this out is up here. This is an activity because this system has come from my mind that I put together from information out there and my own experience. So this is also my opinion. And this is a deep focus activity. It has taken me a lot of time and effort to figure this out. And I've strengthened my focus in the process of doing that. So if this is clicking for you and you're understanding that this is brain rot and this is focus, then I want you to remember this. And whenever you're doing something in here, remember where you are, the color coding, the name, whatever, and then move up on that list. And just by moving one step up, you're doing a good thing. So I have a digital version of this that will be linked in the description that you can download and you can have on your phone. So whenever you're on your phone and you don't remember this, you can go in, you can pull that up and you can say, okay, now I'm mindlessly distracted or I'm in algorithmic brain rot. Where can I go and what can I do? And I will have a deeper explanation underneath each of these in that digital sheet. And what I've realized is that the battle for the dopamine, there are so many ways and methods and techniques we can use to resist, take control of it. But the most important for the battle for the dopamine is to not go on your phone in the morning. The battle of the dopamine is won in the morning. When we wake up, we have our phone as alarms and our phone is just on our bedside table or in our beds even. And then we take the phone and we use that in the morning to wake us up and we start to scroll or something. I at least did that. I know a lot of people do that. And that is when the battle is won, because then you start to deplete your dopamine levels already early in the morning. So when you sit down for the tasks you want to do, you've already used your focus, your energy that was supposed to go into something else, and your curiosity, your excitement of working at something has then been dissipated from scrolling on the internet, reading about something. So I figured out this after a lot of trial and error and noticing stuff in myself, and then of course doing research. And I kind of made this diagram that I used to follow throughout the day if I want to have a good day, if I want to have a productive day, if I want to make that day the best I can, and align it with my internal mechanisms. I made this kind of chart here. You can see I'm very good at drawing, but here we have the beginning of the day. This begins at the top here. You can look at it like this, or you can look at it like this. But we have the most focus, and then in the morning, and that's when we are focusing on the most similar task and the most single task, and then we can dissipate our focus throughout the day. So let's say for me, this is when I do my most important task. I don't go on my phone. I don't use my dopamine in the morning. I just sit down straight to my computer and I start working. If you have a regular job, regular day job, that means not going on your phone before you get to your job and start to do the most important thing. Same with school. And then throughout the day, you can then dissipate your focus and start to do other activities that are more highly stimulating and involves more rapid change. So that for me, for example, would be checking emails. It's happening later in the day, and going on X and interacting with people, talking to the clients I'm helping, that kind of stuff. This is more of a later approach, because then I don't have that singular focus of really focusing in on one thing, because I've used up the dopamine early, and I get less and less focused and more distracted throughout the day. So then I use that to my advantage. And I can evolve this even more, but you get the gist of it. Win the battle of the dopamine in the morning. Put your phone outside your bedroom. Get an alarm clock that's a regular alarm clock you can set for you to wake up. Put your phone, outside the bedroom, and find a spot where you put it every night before you go to bed. Then go to sleep just staring up into the ceiling with your lights off, falling asleep, waking up, and you know that you have to wake up and go to that phone for you to get out of your bed, and then even then don't start scrolling, but wait until later in the day. As the years have gone by, I've tried every single technique, method I could find to help me to quit spending all my time scrolling on my phone, mindlessly consuming information. And I have discovered many methods, but the one that really helped me the most is the same reason that I was able to begin in the first place. Imagine, before we had any TVs, phones, computers, there was no way for us to pull up our phone whenever we felt bored and start scrolling and doing something mindless. So I started thinking like, okay, if I need to have the availability of it to start to even scroll and have this addiction in the first place, then by reducing the availability, aka removing the devices and the access I have to those devices, that would naturally decrease my mindless consumption. That's natural. Before we had any devices, we couldn't scroll. When we have them, we scroll. So, if you've seen the thumbnail of this video, I'm holding up an old phone, and that's this one. And the reason I'm doing that is because if we want to tackle this problem, we have to decrease the availability we have to all the apps and the thing that's capturing us on the internet and our phones. And one of the most crucial things that I did to be able to tackle this, because you can put in blockers in place, you can do all of these things that are necessary to make you use phone less, black and white, blockers, screen time apps. But the most important thing that I did was I replaced my phone with a lot shittier phone. This was because I was so addicted, I was so in the loop, in the habit of pulling up my phone whenever I was bored or feeling any other emotion that I didn't want to feel and then start to scroll. But if I had a shitty phone, then that kind of experience would be really bad. Instead of having this sleek, nice phone I can pull up and do whatever I wanted as fast as that, my phone was kind of like shitty. It was lagging. I couldn't go into the things that I wanted to. And this sounds really annoying, and it is, because, that's a good thing, because when my brain then gets used to this new circle of pulling up my phone, it's used to everything going nice, but then it started to lag. You're interrupting the habit patterns that are programmed into your mind. So your mind, after a long period of time, I did this for maybe 5 years, I started to associate the phone less and less with entertainment and more with just communication. Like I feel like the phone is supposed to be used. So this is a very drastic measure of replacing your phone with a lot shittier one and one that doesn't work that well. But I want you just to be aware of your own patterns and think about this thing about availability. You can do many things to decrease your availability. You can chuck your phone out the window. That's one thing. You can take it out of your bedroom. You can add blockers to your phone. You can make it harder to use, delete apps. And when you do this, I want you to remember this kind of simple arrow in the middle here. That's when you decrease availability. That means you get a shittier phone, you delete your apps or anything like that. You need to replace the time that you usually spend on mindlessly consuming information on the internet with something else that's fun and that's giving you some energy. Maybe you're thinking like, yeah, but I don't know what to do. That's why I'm scrolling in the first place. Then I can make another video on that, but you also need to just get creative. But just remember this. Get creative on something that can replace this and start slowly and build up. Decrease your availability. That's the mantra that should be going in your head if you really want to tackle this. This is what has helped me to win the dopamine battle for all these years, and I'm getting better and better and better at it. The dopamine battle is something we have to fight every single day, but I'm at a place right now where I feel really in control over my technological devices. So even the video you see now is filmed on a new iPhone. I don't have any apps that I misuse. And of course, one time here and there, I fall off the wagon, but then I get back up because I remember this thing about the availability and how my future and my potential is if I don't spend all my time consuming mindlessly on the internet. So this is the video for you. I have a free email strategy course that you can download. It's 7 days. It's totally free, and you can go through each day, and I will dive a lot deeper into these kinds of concepts because I have many more of them. Figure out that the mornings and the evenings are the most important times. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how you can win the night by showing you two separate systems, one theoretical and one practical, that you can implement into your life to start to take control over the night so you get better sleep, get better clarity in your mind, and you can also win the morning, which is the most vulnerable part of the day when it comes to dopamine. First, you need to know that the big tech companies are trying to get your attention. They want you to spend time on their applications so they can sell you ads so they earn money. That means that you are prey in their world, and many of us are waking up to that fact, and we're taking action and stance against it to protect our attention so we can become the people and fulfill the potential that we would just frankly by being ourselves and not having the technology devices in our life. That doesn't mean that technology is not amazing, because it is, but we need to learn how to control it and take advantage of it instead of being controlled by it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is something called the vulnerability scale. And that's something I've created to make us be able to see where we are most vulnerable throughout the day, throughout the week, or throughout the month. And it's very simple. The vulnerability scale is from 1 to 10. Being at a 1, you are highly motivated to stop using devices. You're highly motivated in what you're doing in your life. You're determined, you know what to do, you have clarity and focus, and there's no way you're going to go on your phone and spend time mindlessly consuming information. This is usually after we've set us a new goal, we determined something new, or we have a really good flow and momentum in our lives. Then you have 10, that's the top of the vulnerability scale. That's when you are the most vulnerable to start to mindlessly scroll for hours, days, weeks, whatever. And we are at the 10 when we have low motivation, when we're tired, when we actually have been good at not being on our devices, and we justify in our heads that, okay, now it's okay, now I can use my device. This is when we feel lonely, when we feel bored, and we are using the devices to kind of escape our emotions and our present situation instead of handling it. And if you were born 100 years ago, 50 years ago, you wouldn't have a choice to go and escape into our phones, but that is how our situation is today, and that's why we need to understand this so we can fight it. Me, personally, I'm the most vulnerable around lunch because I've set up my night so I don't go on my phone in the morning, and I'm very vulnerable at night. And that's why I created the other system that's practical that you can follow to actually play on your high vulnerability at night to take control over it. And that part is actually this 3-step system. And I've created this as an easy 3-step system that you can remember and follow in your night. So when you don't know what to do, you feel you're high on the vulnerability scale, you're likely to spend mindlessly time consuming content on the internet, you can just go and think about this system. And for me, it's a 3-step system that's called be entertained, be free, be bored. I'm going to explain that to you right now, but be entertained means that when we are at night, we have a long day, we are vulnerable to just let our mind wander and just being consumed by something. So we cannot fight that urge, at least if you are really addicted to it. So being entertained means that it's okay to be entertained. And then I don't mean mindlessly scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts or anything like that, but it's choosing an entertainment source that is sustained, that is low stimuli. For example, a movie. That sounds crazy, that is low stimuli, but that's where we are in this modern day and age. But we're choosing something that has to sustain attention, movies, TV series, and we're spending time being entertained, relaxing, just letting our mind flow into that different world. But at some time, we need to stop doing this. Then we have a set time where we be free. And being free means freeing yourself of all the technological devices around you that pull you in and pull your attention in. That is your phone, your computer, your TV. And here we get it out of the bedroom. That means we go into the bedroom, get ready to sleep, and we just free ourselves from the technological devices and put them outside the bedroom in a regular spot. That means that it's there for tomorrow. Being free can also include deleting apps you know you are addicted to and mindlessly scrolling on, and setting limitations on that phone. And then lastly, being bored. Being bored is so important. We forgot how to be bored in this modern day and age. But being bored lets our mind wander. It lets the thoughts and feelings in our body system get processed. So we need to be bored. And that's the last part of the day. That means going into your bed and just staring up into the roof. Or if you have a partner, you can talk to them. It's not... So if you see, the boring part is not actually to just be bored, but be bored from not being stimulated by technological devices. You can read, you can listen to some calming music if you have an iPod or something like that, or you can just stare into the roof or meditate. Just be bored. So the more bored you are, the better, because then the next morning when you wake up, you will have more energy because your mind is starved for dopamine. And then because you don't have your phone in your bedroom, then that morning will become much more productive, because you will go out and actually do something with your life, with your potential, with that energy that's been building up, instead of just going on your phone. So be entertained, be free, and be bored. That's the system that I use to take control over my nights and to prepare myself for the next day, to have a winning next day. So if you like this video, then I have a 7-day Dopamine Battle course. That's in the description. I've just created it. You can just sign up. You will get emails every single day. It's completely free. And that's what I have for today. I'm Francis Drake. Goodbye.